pass defensive Michigan takes on Ryan Leaf and a bunch of receivers who separately don't have 1/100th the name value of Charles Woodson, but together make up the most prolific pass offense in Pac-10 history.
186 catches, 30 for touchdowns, 3,326 yards. Meet the 5 branches upon which Ryan Leaf has flourished. The Fab Five. Not
moniker that really fit us, and the only word that really comes to mind is fabulous.
Nick Washington's a route runner, probably the smartest football player of them all. Nyan Taylor's a threat to go long. He can beat anybody deep. McKenzie catches the ball and really explodes after he catches it. He's a runner after he catches the ball. Timms is real quick. They don't have to. If the linebackers on him, look out. They got to have their best defensive back on Timms. Chris Jackson is probably the best all-round receiver and the most improved receiver we have on the team.
Isn't it human nature, though, with so much talent, that one of you guys always feels a little bit left out at any given point? Like, man, I was open for the deep ball and he threw underneath. Let me answer that question.
I mean, I haven't caught a touchdown this year, but I caught a lot of big third down catches, and I'm not complaining about that. We're successful.
Of course, there's success, and then there's success against Charles Woodson. If they had to choose one man for that assignment, who would it be?
I'm pretty sure each one of us would say ourselves, because we're that competitive.
I think we all we're all in the same boat. I would love him to guard me, and I think they're all in the same boat. We love, we're all that confident.
Careful about what you wish for, guys. Chances are, all 5 of you will get it.
I only know one Fab Five, and that was Chris Webber, Juwan Howard, Jimmy King, Ray Jackson, and Jalen Rose. That's the only Fab Five that I know about.
Now with news on the Orange Bowl, here's Steve Cyphers.
If the Huskers don't have a win-one for the Gipper approach to this game, it's because the Gipper doesn't want that.
I really would like to.
His little guy is just trying to somehow shock the world and stay with the Wolverines. Come on.
Well, Washington State's philosophy is very interesting. They take those 5 little guys and they spread them out all over the field. They come back 3 steps and quickly hit the Fab Five. The Fab Five as a group average 17 catches a game and 307 yards per game. That's tough. I think it's going to be tough for Michigan to stop the Fab Five.
I agree with you. Michigan has a very difficult task in trying to stop all these great receivers. They've never seen anything like this in the Big Ten because of the fact Washington State will spread them out with 4 receivers at a time. Look for Michigan to get into their nickel package. You always hear about Charles Woodson, but don't forget about Andre Weathers, Marcus Ray, and Tommy Hendricks. They have 4 big-time defensive backs. It's not just Charles Woodson. They got some good athletes.
But meanwhile, Brian Griese says Washington State's defensive line, which might have 3 or 4 NFL prospects, has never seen an offense like Michigan's power running game.
Yelling, cajoling, consoling, pleading, castrating a steer, seriously, or appealing to a sense of pride. On the verge of a national title for the first time in 50 years, Michigan defensive coordinator Jim Herman's been known to enter a room and ask, everybody in here who's been to a Rose Bowl, raise your hand. Now, Herman knows the Wolverines' last Rose Bowl was '93, before any current players. A silent, still room until Herman himself, who went to Pasadena as a Wolverine linebacker in '81 and '83, slowly raises his own hand. With more in the buildup, here's Chris Fowler.
Charles Woodson on the left, Ryan Leaf on the right, and Frankenstein on the center. These guys showing they can walk the walk as well as talk the talk. A Universal Studios outing for both the Wolverines and the Cougars. Sometimes uncomfortable for players to have to mix before doing battle, but as of Tuesday, the teams will be kept apart. It'll be all business for the teams of Mike Price and Lloyd Carr. These coaches should not have a problem with motivation. Obviously, both teams a lot to play for. Both teams are veteran teams, should be able to handle the pressure of a Rose Bowl. Mark Schwartz takes a look at these 2 coaches' very contrasting approaches.
Oh, man. That's pretty good, Mike. I don't know how you don't like Michigan? All right, I'll take that.
Mike Price and Lloyd Carr are now at the pinnacle of their profession, but they've taken completely different paths to the summit.
They don't start the game out. They don't go out and go, okay, everybody go to work. They say play ball. Play the game. It's a game. Play ball. Fun.
We didn't come out here to have fun. We had our game plan faces on right from the first day.
Even when Carr attempts to be funny, you're really not sure. While he does have a comfortable way with his players, Carr is all business. Only one of his Rose Bowl practices was open to the media, and that for just 20 minutes. Mike Price has had an open door policy. until Monday.
It's just really easygoing and allows people to be who they want to be, and that's who he is.
Lloyd Carr, by contrast, would not allow Charles Woodson to wear an earring for an ESPN interview last month. Woodson wound up not doing the interview. Price's players say he's not much for dress codes. In fact, he once dressed up as a duck hunter to fire up his team for a game against the Oregon Ducks.
And that's where my critics say, hey, you know, he's just a goofball. But, you know, I'm not.
When they said you were a goofball, I mean, did it make you reassess the way you related to the media?
Yeah, I think it did. I think it calmed me down a little bit. I still do the same things, I just don't let you people know about it.
These guys both need raises. Lloyd Carr, not among the highest paid coaches in the Big Ten. Mike Price, he makes a fraction of what some Pac-10 coaches make. Lee, we got to get him raises.
Yeah, he'll get one after this year. But let me tell you, Mike Price is different in a lot of ways from a lot of different coaches. The player gets in trouble, Mike always gives him a second chance. He always gives him a third chance. He never gives up on him. That's why the players like him so much, respect him so much, and play hard for him. Kirk, did you notice the way those players hugged him?
Yeah.
They really mean it. They like this guy.
Yeah, and what's ironic here is in today's day and ages of college coaches, head football coaches, there's so much delegation that goes on that a lot of times they lose the involvement emotionally with their players. Mike Price is a coach that is definitely heavily involved. He listens to what his players have to say, and I think the fact that he's the leader of the time that Washington State has jumped up to the top, I think that he's gained a lot of respect.
And he has some guys on the team who have needed those second and third chances, but Price is quick to point out they've brought discipline to the lives of those players, and 26 seniors, all of them on the roster, are going to get their degrees on schedule. That's the story for now from Pasadena. Now down to Mike Adamle.
Oh, yeah, why not? that's what I play for.
Well, I don't know how smart you are to just keep attacking. You know, at some point we'd have to say, Ryan, knock that off. But knowing Ryan, which is in a positive way, why would you want to take that away from him?
So many quarterbacks, though, fear him. So many coaches fear him. How do you avoid falling into that?
I don't know where people think. How can you fear somebody? I mean, that means you're not a very good competitor.
I would think, 80% of the time or 85% of the time, I'd like to see him throwing someplace else.
And if he throws my way, hopefully I can come up with a couple of interceptions.
DJ Dobbins attempted to impersonate Woodson on the Cougars scout team. And while he couldn't duplicate Woodson's athleticism, he did offer the appropriate ambiance.
So you really think you're going to catch the ball, don't you? Well, I don't think so. So go back to the huddle and tell the quarterback to think of another audible because you're not getting the ball.
You have that much time to say that much?
Yeah. I can do whatever I want to. I'm Charles Woodson.
Except no imitations.
It won't give them the look they're looking for, I'll tell you that.
DJ, there's no CW. Hey, are we making too much of Woodson after all? They use 4 or 5 receivers, Washington State. There's going to be 4 or 5 defensive backs on the field.
Yeah, but they're going to go right after Woodson. Watch it. Washington State's going to attack Woodson deep early. The reason why, Charles Woodson's a great one-on-one player up to 20 yards, but he has been beaten deep in big ball games. Last time I saw him, David Boston went from Ohio State for a touchdown. Now, Washington State's part of their philosophy is to attack the other opponent's strength, put the pressure on them, and then work on their psyche.
All that film you studied, you came up with one. Charles Woodson got beat deep one time.
It takes one, sweetheart. It takes one.
And I don't know where you come up with 20 yards as far as where Charles Woodson can cover to. He can cover you at 5, 10. It doesn't matter how deep. I think they're going to go after Charles Woodson, but also you got to remember that Michigan's going to be in a nickel package. Look for them to go after some of the other cornerbacks, and that means Andre Weathers gets a golden opportunity to step up and show that he's very, very capable of making plays.
And Marcus Ray as well. A lot of athletes in that Michigan secondary. For now, that's the story from Pasadena.